Testing 1 2. So the right-handed batter, James Anderson, stands in, opening offering to him from Giroux. Strike catches the inside part of the plate, and the count 0-1. 1-0. The Knights lead the Pickles here at Bob Brock. Top of the second. Anderson looks at a strike that catches the outer edge, and the count 0-2. Anderson, Thomas Ducart, Jake Lightgeb. Here in the second, Knights trying to add to their 1-0 lead. 0-2 from Giroux. Misses low and outside. And they counted a ball and 2 strikes. Anderson holds the bat on the right shoulder and swings and drives one into left field. Moving back and getting under it is Scoro, and he makes the catch for out number 1. So Giroux gets Anderson, and up comes the lefty Thomas Ducart. Ducart hitting at .391. He's 5th in the league in batting average, and he's taken 7 walks. An on-base percentage at .545. Ducart steps in, taps the plate twice. Open stance, looks at the opening offering. And he swings and cranks one down the left field line. This ball hooking foul. They counted no balls and 1 strike. In last night's ball game, Ducart was 2 for 3, took a walk, had a single and a double, and a run. Knights 1, Pickles none. Top 2 just getting going here at Bob Brock. Ducart looks on, and the 0-1 offering. Strike upstairs, and the counted no balls and 2 strikes. Ducart in the hole. Thomas out of Lake Oswego, headed to Oregon State. 0-2 his way. And he swings and misses. 3 pitches and a strikeout for Giroux. He's got the first 2 of the second. And up comes Jake Lightgeb. Lightgeb hitting an even .300 with 3 ribbies. Still looking for his first home run. As he swings at the first pitch and fouls it back to the screen. Drew with a 1.1 ERA. Knights got to him early in the first. After a double by Holcroft, Armstrong grounded out to first, and Bradley Knight hit a sacrifice fly. 1-0 Knights, top 2, 0-1. Swinging a high fly ball, Lightgeb pops it up. Noah Sue into the outfield grass, towards the line, looks up, and makes the catch. A quick 1-2-3, top of the second to the bottom of the inning we go. Jovan, Arnone, Gregory coming up. Knights lead 1-0.
Testing 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Is that about right? Test 1, 2, 1, 2.
So because of technical difficulties, no ads, no graphics, nothing. So you can radio the whole way through. You can do whatever you got.
Okay.
So welcome back. Bottom two here at Bob Brock. Carlo Jimenez alongside Mike Parker. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Carlo, it is an honor to be here. Thanks for making room for me tonight in this beautiful setting for Wild Wild West League baseball. I'm looking forward to listening to you during this half inning and then seeing if I still remember if I can get back on a bicycle when we go to the third. But thanks for having me in. Great night for baseball, and I really appreciate the opportunity to call a game in the year of 2020.
Yeah.
I haven't yet.
Well, we're glad this is your first.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
And stands the ready, Kenyon Jovan to face Fennings. Bottom two, 1-0 Knights opening offering. Swinging a foul. Jovan's been one of the better hitters of the WWWL, hitting .304. Currently rocking a 5-game hitting streak, in which he's had 2 home runs.
And I would say I can't anymore, but this is kind of a Civil War type match, but that we can't say that anymore, so I'm not sure what we call this now. The War of the Willamette, the Calapooya Classic battle here, Fennings and Kenyon Jovan, I'm not sure, but it is a duck and a beaver, whatever they're going to call it going forward.
You got any suggestions?
I do not. That's somebody else's department, but I sort of like Civil War through the years.
0-2 upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jovan. Fennings, a long, lengthy kid. He is the 2 innings we saw him the first time, absolutely dominant.
Yeah, I heard that from Brooke Knight was telling me that he really was throwing it well, and he's certainly firm.
1-2. Jovan swings and pops one up down the right field line and toward the barn.
Well, Carla, how have you liked a summer in the Pacific Northwest? I mean, you're from the San Jose area, go to USC, and here you are in Aurora, Oregon. How are you liking it?
I'm loving it.
Good.
I'm loving it. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, great to have you here in the Beaver State.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beaver versus a duck right here. 1-2.
Yep.
Strike 3 catches the outer corner. Jovan is done. He has some words for the umpire as he heads back to the dugout.
I didn't see, and I don't know if you looked or not, but the Pac-12 released football schedules, conference only for the fall. Did you check out your Trojans and see what they're up against?
I did. I did see no Oregon State on there.
No Oregon State.
But we do play Oregon. We have UCLA. They scheduled for the first game. I think they just scheduled that, and then our AD came out. Here's Alec Arnone, looks at a ball, with an announcement today pretty much saying most likely going to be canceled. We'll push it to December. So.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
there is some flexibility built in, that's for sure.
Yeah. 1-0. Arnone swings and misses. They count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Alec hitting .400 even. Were you able to check out the schedule for the Beavers?
A little bit. I haven't studied it carefully, but to know the Beavs will open on the 26th at home against Cal.
Okay.
And back-to-back home games to open in the conference. So that's, I think, a decent way for Jonathan to get year 3 started. But it's just nice on this July 31st to be seeing, as I mentioned, Carlo, the first opportunity to be on the air for a baseball game. So what a great setting, and it's wonderful to be here tonight.
1-2, and Arnone slaps one foul. It is gorgeous. Clouds in the sky. This time of day when the sun starts to set, it's pretty out here. And thankfully cool.
Well, yeah, this is the coolest night of the year so far, right? I mean, from what I've heard from other fans down below. Good pitch.
1-2, and another strikeout looking for Fennings. So 3 strikeouts in a row for the ace from Westland, and up comes Lucas Gregory with 2 gone and the bases empty. 1-0 Knights, bottom 2, just getting going here at Bob Brock. Gregory the lefty facing the right-hander Fennings. Opening offering. Gregory swings and taps one right back to Fennings. He loses it at first, gets back to it, goes to first, And that does it. A 1-2-3, bottom of the second to the third we go. It will be all Mike Parker when we return.
Thanks, Carlo. Two innings in at beautiful Bob Rock Stadium in Aurora. Mike Parker with Carlo Jimenez and a great crew making Wild Wild West League baseball possible, alive and well, thanks to the North Marion School District, the Brock family, and to the Portland Pickles and Alan Miller and all involved in giving those of us who love the great game of baseball, and as Roger Angel called it, the summer game, we're getting to experience baseball here tonight at Bob Rock, and it's great to be with you. Leading things off for the Knights here in the third, who lead it 1-0, Nick Klemp, and the count with Alex Giroux on the hill for the Portland Pickles. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nick Klemp, Ben Lead, and Jake Holcroft in the third. A one-hopper right at the third baseman, Kenyon Yovan. He throws a little bit off target, but Lucas Gregory able to go up and flag it for the out. Nick Klemp grounding out 5-3 to open the top of the third for the Knights. And Ben Lead will come to the plate. The Knights and Pickles already developing a tremendous rivalry as West Coast League combatants. And it is, again, just a joy. A lot of the rivalries and those sorts of things set aside just for the opportunity for 4 teams of young men in the area playing for college programs up and down the West Coast to get together and find a way to play some ball this summer. And it's been a wonderful thing here from all reports at Bob Rock. This is my first chance to see this ballpark, and it is as beautiful as advertised. The first pitch to Lead, fouled straight back by Ben. No balls and 1 strike. The right-hander Giroux comes back and misses high and inside. 1-1 to Ben Lead, 1 out, nobody on, top of the third, 1-0 Corvallis. Jake Holcroft, who opened the game with a double and has scored the game's lone run, waiting his turn on deck. Bob Rock Stadium at North Marion High School, and just beautiful surroundings. My first trip ever here, and I marveled at just how glorious it was to make the trip in from Corvallis. A beautiful setting for baseball, one of the great jewels of ballparks in the country at the high school level, to be sure. Slider misses to Ben Lead. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. Lead turns on the 2-1 pitch and drives it deep but foul down the left field line in the corner. Home run distance 322 down the left field line, but well foul. And the count to Ben, 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and nobody on. And the Knights leading 1-0. Jake Holcroft waiting his turn. Bob Rock Stadium, 322 to left, 302 to right, 353 to the power alley and right center, 357 to left center, and a cozy 377 to straightaway center. The 2-2 pitch misses high and away from Giroux. Ball 3, 3-2. 1 out, nobody on, with Jake Holcroft waiting his turn. Brooke Knight masked up in the third base box for the West Lynn Knights. And Mitch Moses, longtime assistant to Jake Anders at Lake Oswego, his alma mater, coaching at first. Fly ball into left center field and fairly deep. Drifting back on it is Christian Cooney to go up and get it a step or two on the warning track out in the alley in left center field. Lead making pretty good contact, but isn't out. 2 down. I'm told that on certain nights that ball would probably have jumped out of here, but not so much tonight. A lot cooler. The wind has been blowing out to straightaway center. In some of the games, that ball would have been long gone, but not tonight. Jake Holcroft, who opened the game with an opposite field double against Alex Giroux, swings at the first pitch and slaps it foul off to the left and out of play. No balls, 1 strike, 2 down, nobody on in the top of the third. The West Lynn Knights and the Portland Pickles from Bob Brock Stadium. The strike 1 fastball to Holcroft misses high and inside. Jake, Chad Stevens, the rest of the Portland Pilots were having a tremendous spring at 12-4 before the COVID-19 pandemic shutdown. Slider for a strike from Giroux in the count 1-2. Holcroft was hitting .484. Just an unbelievable start for the Pilots, who are having a tremendous year at 12-4. The 1-2 pitch misses high and away from Giroux, and the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake, one of the stalwarts for the Corvallis Knights last year and helping the Knights bring home a 4th consecutive West Coast League championship. The left-hand hitter awaits the 2-2 pitch, lifted foul off third, and again out of play. And just a shame on so many levels. We can't even begin to account for all of the levels of disappointment that the entire world, for various reasons, is feeling. But just on a very small level, but important to Holcroft and the Pilots, a shame that Jake, who swings through the 2-2 pitch and doesn't get it for strike 3, wasn't able to continue what appeared to be shaping up as just an incredible season for Jake and the Pilots on the bluff. Holcroft strikes out here, and the West Lynn Knights go in order. We're through 2.5 at Bob Brock Stadium in beautiful Aurora, Oregon. I'll tell you what little knowledge I had of Aurora/Hubbard when we come back to the bottom of the third. After 2.5, the Knights won, the Pickles nothing. We go to the bottom of the third inning on our live stream, Wild Wild West League Baseball, presented by Adventist Health. Mike Parker with Carlo Jimenez. Thank you for joining us wherever you're listening or watching this evening. The first pitch from Jake Fennigs, hard-throwing right-hander for Oregon State, misses inside, ball 1. Comes back working out of the stretch. The 1-0 pitch is stroked to right center field. Drifting over to his left is Thomas Ducart, a teammate to be of Jake's at Oregon State. Ducart makes the catch, and Danny O'Reilly flies out to right center field to open the bottom of the third. The West Lynn Knights leading the Portland Pickles 1-0. Tony Boedo out of Santa Clara will come to the plate. Boedo playing at Santa Clara and has some connections, though, historically in his family, and that his grandfather played football at Washington State. And his mom, a tremendous athlete, running cross country at Cal State Fullerton. The first pitch to Tony Boedo, swung on and rolled foul outside of third. No balls and 1 strike. Justin Barkus coaching at third for the Portland Pickles. The Knights starting the night at 7-1. The Pickles at 5-3. No balls and one strike. Pfennig's back to the plate. Fastball foul back. No balls and two strikes the count. Jake Pfennig's and Jake Lightgeb, the battery for Wes Lynn, with Nick Klemp at first, Chad Stevens at second, Andy Armstrong at short, Briley Knight at third base. Briley has been patrolling center field. The strike two pitch taken a little bit low, and the count 1-2 to Tony Boeto. The 9-hole hitter Gabe Scoro on deck. The Knights leading 1-0 in the bottom of the third. The outfield very shallow with the wind blowing in tonight. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and fouled back, and the count remains 1-2. Jake Lightgeb will go out and confer with his battery mate. The two Jakes working the battery tonight, Jake Pfennig's, Jake Lightgeb. And the two Jakes was a motion picture that was meant to be a sequel to one of the great films ever made called Chinatown. And because Chinatown was near perfection, I refused to see a sequel years later called The Two Jakes. But I'm grateful to be watching the two Jakes working tonight at Bob Brock Stadium in Aurora. Jake out of the stretch, and the 1-2 pitch taken, strike three called, 2 down. Pfennig's records his fourth strikeout. And with 2 down and nobody on, Gabe Scoro, the batter. I mentioned Aurora/Hubbard, and out on the Bob Brock Stadium scoreboard, an advertisement for one of the sponsors here in the local area, Hubbard Chevrolet. Since 1936. My aunt and uncle lived post-World War II in Hubbard. They moved out from Sioux City, Iowa, and ended up living in Hubbard just after World War II before moving down to the Redding area in California. The first pitch, Gabe Scoro takes a strike. The count 0-1. 2 down, nobody on. 1-0 Knights in the third. Pfennig's back to the plate, misses with the slider high, and the count 1-1. But they used to tell me about, and they seem to know about the local legend of a pitcher by the name of Floyd Clifford Bill Bevins out of the Hubbard area. The 1-1 pitch, a towering pop foul off third. Briley Knight comes over as far as he can and watches it drift about a yard behind the Knights dugout on the third base side, out of play. 1-2 the count. Floyd Clifford Bevins, born and reared in Hubbard, Oregon. Hubbard's about 3 miles from where we sit. And he, yeah, everybody knows of Don Larson and the perfect game 9 years later, October 8th of 56. October 3rd of 1947, the pride of Hubbard in the World Series, pitching for the New York Yankees, pitched 8 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball in the World Series, and Cookie Lavagetto beat him with a 2-run double to end the game. A bouncer to third, grabbed by Briley Knight. He throws across to Nick Klemp, and Scoro retired, and Jake Pfennig's has faced 9 and retired 9. That's probably the end of the line for Jake tonight, so I invoke Larson and perfection. Floyd Clifford Bevins was not perfect in October of 1947, but he came the closest to any pitcher to throwing a no-hitter in the World Series. But he gave up a hit to Cookie Lavagetto, a pinch hit, 2-run double to win it for the Brooklyn Dodgers 3-2. Bevins appeared in Game 7 of the World Series and then retired back here to the Hubbard, Aurora area. Never pitched in the major leagues again, never had another start again after the ill-fated flirtation with a no-hitter in the World Series. Floyd Bill Bevins, October 3rd, 1947, out of nearby Hubbard. 3 innings in the books. It's the Wes Lynn Knights 1 and the Portland Pickles 0 on our live stream, presented by Adventist Health. Through 3 innings at Bob Rock Stadium in Aurora, the Westland Knights 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors. The Portland Pickles no runs, no hits, and no errors. Alex Giroux goes to work on the Knights right-hand hitting Andy Armstrong, and the first pitch to Andy misses high and inside. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Andy playing at shortstop tonight for Brook Knight and the Knights. In his first summer, being a local kid, he was telling me before the game as he takes outside for ball 2, he said, it's about time I put on a Knights uniform after all his years in this neighborhood, so to speak. The 2-0 pitch, a 2-hopper to the shortstop, Dalton Chandler. Struggles for a moment to get a handle on the ball out of the webbing of his glove, but is up to the task and throws out Armstrong. 1 away in the top of the 4th inning, and Briley Knight, who has the game's lone run batted in, a line drive sacrifice fly to center field in the 1st inning, will step back in. Briley making the decision after the shutdown of the spring season, and he was having a good start at Utah. Briley, though, has chosen to enter the transfer portal and has landed on his feet for Coach Loomis at the University of Portland. It'll be a great fit for him. He takes low and in, ball 1 from the right-hander Alex Giroux. Giroux comes back and misses again, ball 2, 2-0. Certainly closer to home, and it's my pleasure to give a shout out tonight to Briley's grandmother, Jan Babbitt. I hope you're watching and listening, Jan. I so appreciated you and Carly last year at the end of the year, making a memorable summer with the Corvallis Knights, one that I'll certainly cherish just by some of the thoughts and kind words you shared at the end of the year. And it's nice to be able to speak to you, Jan, grandmother for Briley, listening at home this evening and watching on the live stream. If only one time in the summer of 2020, it's a real pleasure to be here, Jan, and thanks for watching. The 3-0 pitch, a strike to Briley. The right-hander Giroux, trying to come all the way back, delivers a strike on the inner half, and the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Briley Knight. Chad Stevens on deck. Alex Giroux and Alec Arnone, the battery for Portland. 1-0 Knights in the 4th. Breaking ball misses down and in on the 3-2 pitch, and Briley with a good plate appearance. He has a sacrifice fly and now a walk to his credit thus far. Chad Stevens will come to the plate. Chad lined out in the 1st inning. Chad, a big part of the Portland Pilots' success this year at 12-4, 16 runs batted in, so an RBI per game through the 16. And a guy who was instrumental in the Knights bringing home the 3rd West Coast League championship in succession in the summer of 2018, spent last summer in Cape Cod. The pitch on the way to Stevens, fastball high and away from Alex Giroux, ball 1, 1-0. Giroux and Arnone, the battery. Lucas Gregory at first, Noah Sue at second, Dalton Chandler at short, Kenyon Yovan, the 3rd baseman, Gabe Scoro in left, Christian Cooney in center, Danny O'Reilly in right. The pitch is lifted to right field and playable for O'Reilly. Started back and misjudged it. It was playable, but he didn't play it right. And the ball lands in front of O'Reilly for a base hit, a gift of a hit for Chad Stevens, with O'Reilly misjudging the ball out in right field. Briley Knight cruises into second, and Chad Stevens with a gift single that makes up for the line drive he hit at Noah Sue in the 1st inning when he made good contact and it was an out. Here he dumps one into shallow right field and takes advantage of Danny not picking the ball up properly. Runners at 1st and 2nd, James Anderson the batter. Briley Knight hops away from second base. Alex Giroux eyeballs him, now comes to the plate. Fastball swung out and missed. No balls and 1 strike to James Anderson. James has a look at Coach Knight down at 3rd. The runners, for the most part, have been free and easy on the base paths for Brook and for Mitch Moses. Not necessarily all green lighted, but if Briley Knight feels like he has a good opportunity to run, he doesn't have to wait for a sign. The fastball to Anderson misses high and inside, and that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 on and 1 out in the 4th. And the Westland Knights trying to add to their slim advantage, 1-0 here in the 4th inning. The right-hander Giroux has gone all the way. He comes set. Knight from second, Stevens from first. Giroux to the plate, and the breaking ball is swung on and missed, and the count goes to 1-2. James Anderson has done a good job for Coach Brooke Knight so far this summer, and a good ball player that was having a good spring as well. The right-hand hitter awaits, checks his swing and a fastball up, and the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anderson was hitting .382 with a couple of homers and 10 RBIs at Skagit Valley College through 11 games. Out of Crescent Valley High School. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. 1-0 Knights in the 4th. Giroux from the stretch. The right-hander delivers, and that fastball is up and in. Ball 3, 3-2. Jake Fenig's evening is almost certainly over. Brooke told me before the game that Jake would go either 3 innings or 50 pitches. Well, the 3 innings are in, and they were perfect ones. The Knights have a right-hander up in the bullpen. It's Taylor Holder. We'll see if the runners are going here. They do. The 3-2 pitch swung on and missed. The throw down to second on a hop goes into center field. Riley Knight thus will race in and score from third base. And into third goes Chad Stevens, and the Westland Knights increase the lead to 2-0. Riley Knight with a stolen base of third, Stevens of second, but then Briley able to score on the throwing error by Alec Arnone. And the Knights lead at 2-0 with Chad Stevens in at third. James Anderson striking out on the 3-2 pitch. 2 down, and Thomas Ducart the batter. Giroux delivers. Ducart first ball swinging, lifts it foul, back of the plate and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. It is cooling off considerably. It's still a pleasant night for baseball, but it has been hot, I'm told, for most of these ball games here in the Wild Wild West League. Cool and pleasant tonight before what amounts to, in the era we're in, a full house. By COVID-19 pandemic standards, as many people as allowable are in this ballpark tonight. That's 250, about 80 of them paid fans. The strike 1 pitch is in there for strike 2. Ducart swings at the 0-2 pitch and pops one up a little back of third. Jovan goes back to flag it, and the inning is over. But the Knights do pick up a run on 1 hit, an error and 1 left, and we are through 3.5. It's Westland 2, the Portland Pickles nothing at Bob Rock Stadium in Aurora on the live stream presented by Adventist Health. We move along to the bottom of the 4th inning under the lights at Bob Rock Stadium in Aurora. The Westland Knights leading the Portland Pickles by a score of 2-0. Again, our thanks to Adventist Health for making the live stream broadcast possible. Thank you for tuning our way wherever you may be doing so. And a great crew up here making it possible as well, with Carlo, with John, with Kat, with Gary, with Rory, and Allie, I think, on one of the cameras. And it's a team effort here making these things possible, and we appreciate all of you who are viewing and listening this evening as Taylor Holder enters the contest, a young man out of Crescent Valley High School, where he played for Ryan Starwalt, the outstanding coach, and Taylor on his way to the University of Oregon. His first pitch is in there for a strike as he goes to work in the bottom of the fourth inning to Noah Sue, the leadoff hitter. The strike one pitch to Noah. He's fooled out in front, swings and doesn't get it, and is behind the count to Taylor. No balls and 2 strikes. 2-0 Knights in the bottom of the fourth inning. Again, 80 fans. That's about the maximum number of tickets that can be sold, and with the players and the scouts and the staff, some 250 people in Bob Brock Stadium. The strike 2 pitch missing a little bit high. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I had heard many great things about the field. I've been watching some of the live streams, but you don't really get the full sense of it until you actually see it. And it is a tremendous setting for baseball. The 1-2 pitch from Taylor hits Noah Sue, who didn't really sell it aggressively. Noah turned to the home plate umpire and said, "Did that nick me? Did that get me?" "Yeah, I think it did." "Well, take your base, son." Not necessarily a Pete Rose type race out of the box down to first base. I was glad to see, by the way, as Noah Sue gets hit by a pitch and becomes the first base runner of the evening for the West Linn Knights. I don't have it in front of me. I'm not sure I can recall it, but one of the players for the Portland Pickles declared that his favorite player was Pete Rose. And just to see that in a bio for a young man in the modern era, whatever your opinion may be about Rose and whether he should be reinstated and the gambling and all of that, first pitch missing inside, ball 1, 1-0. 2-0 Knights. Holder comes back and misses again, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to Christian Cooney, who grounded out in his first at-bat. When the player, and I'll try to recover the name here in a bit about Pete Rose. Yeah, here we go. Hudson Byrek out of Wofford College said that his favorite player, Holder, delivers a strike in the count 2-1. Pete Rose. The fact that he knows who Pete is a good thing. But the reason that he proffers isn't because Hudson doesn't say anything about enjoying Pete's gambling style or anything like that. But he said the thing that he loved and admired about Pete Rose, he played hard. And no matter what else one may think or say about Pete Rose, that's a truth. Out to the mound for a brief conversation with Taylor Holder goes Jake Lightgeb. Now Jake turns and tosses one over to first, dug out by Nick Klemp, holding on Noah Sue. Sue hit by a pitch to open the fourth, 2-0 Knights. And there goes Sue. He gets a good jump. The pitch is high. The throw to second base is not in time. Sue with the steal and is in scoring position. Lightgeb's throw a little bit high down to Chad Stevens, but Sue getting a good jump on Holder. And now after no base runners against Pfennigs through 3, suddenly now life for the Portland Pickles in the form of a hit batter, a stolen base, and a 3-1 count to Christian Cooney. The 3-1 pitch, a chopper to Briley Knight at third. He looks back Sue and fires across the diamond for the out. Nicely done by Briley, but Christian Cooney not able to move the runner along. One away, and Dalton Chandler will come to the plate. So just to see the name of Rose invoked is encouraging to an old-timer such as yours truly. And Pete Rose did play the game about as hard as anyone. Charlie Hustle was kind of a pejorative nickname for him early, but it stuck, and it was the right nickname for baseball's all-time hits leader. First pitch missing down and away, ball 1, 1-0 to Chandler. 2-0 Knights in the bottom of the fourth. I was visiting with my broadcast partner Jim Wilson earlier this week. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Breaking ball in the dirt from Holder, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Noah Sue at second, 1 out, bottom of the fourth. 2-0 West Lynn. And Brook Knight is going to head out for a visit with young Taylor Holder. Just trying to, I think, help him to slow the pace down a little bit. He was ahead of Sue and then lost him with a hit batter. Saw a stolen base occur. Made a good pitch to get an out and keep Sue at second, but has come back to fall behind to Chandler. 2 balls and no strikes. Wilson was at Riverfront Stadium for the All-Star game. Big Jimmy was 9 years old in the pitch, hit, and throw competition. And he remembered having a view very close to the action, box seats that the youngsters competing in that. He represented the city of Corvallis in the pitch, hit, and throw competition and finished second in the nation that year. And that you may recall those days, pitch, hit, and throw competitions, and that unfolded at Riverfront. And Pete Rose rounding third in the bottom of the 12th on Jim Hickman's base hit to center, crashing into Ray Fosse. An image indelibly etched in all of our collective minds as fans. Jimmy Wilson saw it in person. Fly ball to deep left field, drifting back as Jake Holcroft on the warning track makes the catch. Sue bluffs at second and holds, and a nice job by Taylor Holder to get an out. He was behind the count. The inning's been a little bit shaky in some respects for Taylor, and yet here he is after the hit batter and the steal, and a visit from head coach Brook Knight with an opportunity to get out of the inning with the shutout still intact as his teammate-to-be at the University of Oregon, Kenyon Yovan, steps in. 2-0 Knights in the bottom of the fourth. And the thing that I know that I will always appreciate about Rose, and I'm not one who believes that he necessarily should be reinstated. His lifetime ban, I think, it has merit, the late Bart Giamatti coming to that decision. But when the Philadelphia Phillies would come to Portland to play an exhibition game against their parent club, Pete Rose and Kevin Herbst, now Terrible's an affectionate nickname for Kevin Herbst, but Kevin Herbst could attest to the pitch to Yovan from Holder, a strike, and the count 0-1. Rose, unlike most players, starting players, superstars, Hall of Fame types, Rose would play all 9 innings in an exhibition game in Portland, Oregon, after playing all 9 the night before in a big league town and about to play 9 a couple of nights later in the next town. Came to Portland Civic Stadium and twice played all 9 innings in exhibition games. The strike one pitch, a balk on Taylor Holder, so no pitch, and down to third base goes Noah Sue, and the count remains no balls and a strike to Kenyon Yovan. And so that always ingratiated Pete with fans because he'd hustle out of the box and he'd come to an exhibition game, and unlike a lot of superstars who might have a token at bat and take a seat for the rest of the night, Pete knew that fans came to see him, and he would play all 9. Out of the stretch works Holder, the strike one pitch, fastball away from Taylor. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Yovan is a strong hitter, and yet if you looked at the outfield alignment here now, I don't know if John can take a look, whether we can order up a shot of the outfield alignment. Is that possible? I'm not trying now to turn into Rune Arledge here, but the outfield alignment extremely shallow. The 1-1 pitch misses away, ball 2, 2-1 from Taylor Holder. And that just gives you a sense of the evening and the fact that the ball's not carrying particularly well. Center fielder Thomas Ducart straight away and shallow in center. Ben Lead shallow in right. Jake Holcroft a little bit more depth in left. Out of the stretch works Holder. The 2-1 pitch is lifted down the right field line into foul territory. Nick Klemp moving into foul ground. Shades of the Arkansas Razorbacks, except here Nick Klemp makes the catch, calling off his 2 teammates, and the inning is over, and thank heaven the game wasn't over 2 years ago in Omaha. But Nick Klemp stays with it to make that grab, and a nice job, all things considered, for Taylor Holder. A hit batter, a stolen base, a walk, and yet another 0 on the board. We are through 4 at Bob Rock Stadium in Aurora. West Lynn 2, and the Portland Pickles nothing. On the live stream presented by Adventist Health. 1 week ago tonight, left-hander Christian Hammerich worked against the Westland Knights, gave up a run in an inning of work, a couple of hits, and the lefty Christian Hammerich out of Archbishop Reardon High School, hometown of Pacifica, California, and attending school at Western Oregon in Monmouth, the left-hander ready to go here in the top of the 5th inning, and the Knights leading by a score of 2-0. The first pitch to Jake Lightgeb, who popped out to second base in the second, misses away, ball 1, 1-0. Breezes have settled down considerably here at Bob Brock Stadium. The left-hander Hammerich ready, comes back to the plate and misses away again. Ball 2, 2-0. Jake Lightgeb, Nick Klemp, and Ben Lead in the 5th. In a very pleasant evening at the ballpark. And this final day of July and the strangest year perhaps of our collective existence, the year of our Lord 2020. The 2-0 pitch on the way, in there for a strike, and the count 2-1. Speaking of Jim Wilson, I'm hoping that we'll have an opportunity to work together in the fall for Beaver football on the Oregon State Beaver Sports Radio Network, with the season scheduled to get underway September 26th against California at Reser. The 2-1 pitch lifted foul off to the right and out of play, and the count 2-2. And Jim and I have worked a lot of baseball games together as well at Goff Stadium at Coleman Field. Jim's an OSU Hall of Famer. Very sad news today that we learned actually late last night. Sad in the sense of I know that Jim, changeup hit foul down the right field line. It remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jim, yours truly, and all of us in Beaver Nation who have appreciated the Oregon State baseball program through so many years and 3 national championships. Pat Bailey will not be part of the staff going forward next year, and Bales is 64 years of age and one of the great coaches that we've had in the Pacific Northwest, a national championship at George Fox, and so much great work through the years at Oregon State, and I will miss him greatly on a personal level, and he's been a mentor to young men and done a tremendous job. I mean, there are reasons, and tough decisions are made by head coaches leading programs, and I know that was a tough one for Mitch Canham. But just thinking about back home at Corvallis and campus, thinking about the Beavers trying to play football in the fall, thinking about the ballpark on campus that saw just 3 games at home this year. Bales will be dearly missed. Jake Lightgeb swings, and Lightgeb whacks one into right field for a base hit past the outstretched glove of Noah Sue. So Jake will lead off single in the 5th against the left-hander Christian Hammerich. And the first pitch to Nick Klemp misses away, ball 1, 1-0. 2-0 Knights, top of the 5th inning, with Nick Klemp, who grounded out to third, at the plate against Hammerich, getting another opportunity to work against the Westland Knights. The pitch on the way is sprayed foul down the right field line here at Bob Brock Stadium, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Klemp favors a closed stance, slightly closed. I don't see as many hitters closed in the modern era, but Klemp is a bit closed as he stands in against the left-hander Hammerich. Not exaggeratedly so. The right-hand hitter in this wood bat league, pumping the wood and waiting on the left-hander Christian Hammerich, who comes to the plate, and the fastball misses high. Leadoff single here in the top of the 5th inning for Jake Lightgeb. 2 balls and a strike and a running count here. We'll see if Brook Knight may have just given Jake the signal to go. My guess is yes. We'll see. 2 balls and a strike, the count to Nick Klemp. Ben Lead on deck. 2-0 Knights in the 5th. The runner does go. The pitch goes off the mitt of the catcher, Alec Arnone, to the backstop. A stolen base for Lightgeb, who was on the move, and the count goes to 3-1. So Brook Knight indeed turning the runner loose, playing a little hit and run, and the pitch ends up off the mitt of Arnone to the backstop. 3 balls and 1 strike, the count. Now, if I mentioned Hudson Byrick's favorite player being a fellow by the name of Pete Rose, Christian Hammerich has another old school guy as his favorite athlete ever, and a guy that is probably the greatest ball player ever. The 3-1 pitch in there for a strike and the count 3-2. Now that takes in a lot of territory, I know. But Hammerich, growing up in Pacifica, California, perhaps understanding the legend of the team that he followed, his favorite team growing up, the San Francisco Giants. Hammerich asked who his favorite athlete is. Willie Mays. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Lifted to left field and playable. Gabe Scoro is right there. Gabe grabs it on the bag at second as Lightgeb will hold. Nick Klemp not able to get the ball on the ground on the right side to move the runner, or in the air to right field. Flies out to straightaway left. One gone, and Ben Lead, the hitter, with the Knights leading 2-0. And we look at our American flag beyond the Bob Brock Stadium scoreboard. It is still, at the beginning of the ball game, it was very breezy. But the winds, as I mentioned earlier, have settled down under the lights. Twilight time here in Aurora. Beautiful evening for baseball. And the Knights trying to add to their 2-0 lead in the top of the fifth. But it's nice to see the young generation of ball players, Hudson Byrick, Christian Hammerich, talking about guys like Pete Rose and Willie Mays and understanding their place in the game. Fastball high and inside to Ben Lead, who flied to center in his first at-bat. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Lead was originally signed to a 10-day contract with the Knights. And here he is with no Corvallis Knights baseball, getting to participate in the Wild Wild West League, a young man out of Crescent Valley High School competing at Wenatchee Valley College. He takes on the outside corner for a strike, with the definition of outside expanded a bit there by the home plate umpire. Ben Lead didn't quite give a classic double take, but he wasn't so sure about that pitch being called a strike. Hammerich getting the sign from his battery mate Alec Arnone. Glances back at Jake Lightgeb, and the left-hander ready, and comes back to the plate with a 1-1 breaking ball in there for a strike. And the count 1-2 to Ben Lead. Leadoff hitter Jake Holcroft on deck. Jake Lightgeb at second out of Lincoln High School in Portland and the University of Washington. A leadoff single. Stoll second, and now with 1 out, after the sun had disappeared for a bit behind some surprising cloud cover this evening. It's breaking through as the 1-2 pitch taken in the dirt. Nice block by Arnone to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Christian Hammerich, the left-hander, wants to become an orthopedic surgeon. Good for him. So he's on that kind of track in his education. And again, out of Archbishop Reardon High School. Fastball and a good one. Swung on and missed for strike 3, getting in under the hands of Ben Lead for the second out. And so much like Taylor Holder, young Christian Hammerich trying to work his way through a problematic situation, and that he had a runner at second with nobody out. Now, a runner at second with 2 down, and Jake Holcroft, the hitter. Jake doubled to left and scored in the first, struck out in the third. 2-0 Knights in the fifth. Hammerich dealing with one of the top hitters. In fact, won the batting crown last year for the Corvallis Knights, the first Knights player to win the league batting title since Taylor Ard in 2009. And on cue, he does it again. A ground ball into center field for a base hit. Lightgeb rounding third, will score easily. The throw comes to the first baseman, cut off, but still excellent base running by Holcroft, who picks up the extra base into second. The Knights lead it 3-0 with Jake Holcroft coming through again. First ball swinging with a base hit to center. Lightgeb scoring easily, and the Knights lead it 3-0. Andy Armstrong coming to the plate. Andy is grounded to first and grounded to short. Andy's scuffling a little bit offensively, but a young man who finally, after all of his years in the Pacific Northwest, West Salem High School, finally getting a chance to put on a Knights uniform, hoping to drive in a run here in the top of the fifth inning. The Knights are run in the first, a run in the fourth. They've added one here in the fifth, and Andy and Wes Lynn looking for another. The first pitch in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. 3-0 Knights in the top of the fifth inning. And I saw Christian's teammate, speaking of surgery, Kyle Dernetti, who is also an athlete at Oregon State. Kyle Dernetti is shut down for the rest of the season for the Portland Pickles, but it was good to meet Kyle officially. I've heard a lot about him through the years at Tualatin High School and teammates with Joey Myers, family friend for many years, and Kyle has undergone surgery. A hamate bone had been bothering him, so he's shut down for the season. The pitch on the way, lifted to left center field and playable for Christian Cooney. Moves over and back a couple of steps, reaches up to make the catch to retire Armstrong, and the Knights settle for one here in the third on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. Through 4.5 at Bob Rock Stadium, the Wes Lynn Knights 3, the Portland Pickles nothing. On our live stream presented by Portland Adventist. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Taylor Holder to Alec Arnone, and the first pitch fastball misses high and inside. Ball 1. 1-0. 3-0 Knights in the bottom of the fifth. Just had the pleasure of meeting. I visited with him before on our local radio show in the Mid-Valley. Randy Brock, the Hall of Fame and legendary coach at North Marion High School, this being the home of the North Marion Huskies. And it was a real pleasure to meet Randy and his son Tucker, who are responsible for this gorgeous field. Holder comes back with a 2-0 pitch and misses. Ball 3, 3-0 to Alec Arnone out of Cal State Northridge. Alec will be followed by Lucas Gregory and then Danny O'Reilly. Taylor works out of the stretch. The young man from Crescent Valley to the plate, and the 3-0 pitch just misses for ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to open the top of the fifth inning. Taylor managed to pitch around some trouble in the fourth inning, a hit batter, a stolen base, and a balk, and yet still put up a goose egg. And he flirts with trouble again here in the fifth in the form of a 4-pitch leadoff walk. Lucas Gregory, the batter. Lucas hit back to the box to Jake Fennigs in the second. Jake went 3 and was perfect with 4 strikeouts and looked dominant through his 3-inning stint. Holder finds the plate here to Lucas Gregory for a strike. 0-1 the count, 3-0 Knights in the bottom of the fifth. The strike one pitch hit sharply on a hop to the second baseman. Stevens goes to Armstrong for 1, back to first, double play. Nicely done by the middle infielders and a good stretch by Nick Klemp at first for the 4-6-3 double play ball. So after the 4-pitch walk, just like that, Taylor Holder able to get 2 outs on the twin killing. Stevens to Armstrong to Klemp. And with 2 down, Danny O'Reilly out of the University of Toledo, the batter, he flied to center field in the 3rd inning. But it was a pleasure to meet Randy Brock, who was a shortstop on the 1971 state championship team at North Marion High School, graduated in '72. First pitch is in there for a strike, the count 0-1 to Danny O'Reilly. Taylor Holder back and misses low, 1-1 the count. This year would have been his 34th year as the head coach at his alma mater, North Marion High School. Has taken a couple of breaks here and there through his legendary run after the '81 and 2002 seasons. He returned for the 2009 year and has been here ever since. And when he returned in grand style to his alma mater. That's when this beautiful ballpark became one of the jewels of the West, when he and his family and others in the community worked to create this beautiful ballpark, considered in 2011 the best high school facility in the West Coast, the best field in the state of Oregon in 2015, and Brooke Knight told me before the game the infield is a major league infield, period. This could play at the major league level. The pitch from Taylor Holder is swung on and missed for strike 3 by Danny O'Reilly, and after a 4-pitch walk, a nice job again by Taylor as he ends up facing the minimum. But no doubt, Randy Brock, his son Tucker, and all of the people who work on this field, the late Bob Brock, who made this ballpark possible. Beautiful natural grass, the middle infield, the fine red rock surface on the warning track. It is a jewel, and it's been a real pleasure to be here and get a few more innings to go before we turn it back over to the voice of the Pickles and the Wild Wild West League, Carlo Jimenez, here in a few more innings. We go to the top of the 6th, the Knights 3, and the Portland Pickles nothing, on our live stream broadcast presented by Adventist Health. Briley Knight will lead things off for the Corvallis Knights in the top of the 6th inning. The Knights leading the Portland Pickles 3-0. Briley Knight, Chad Stevens, and James Anderson against left-hander Christian Hammerich. First pitch, breaking ball, bends in for a strike to Briley. No balls and 1 strike. I can tell by Briley's body language and Papa Brooke that neither was especially thrilled. And even with the mask on, I can tell Brooke wasn't happy with the call. No balls and a strike to Briley Knight. 3-0 Knights in the 6th. The strike 1 pitch, that breaking ball is in there for strike 2. So Briley quickly in arrears. No balls and 2 strikes. A sacrifice fly for Briley in the 1st. He walked and scored in the 4th. 3-0 Knights in the 6th. Christian Hammerich, the lefty, to the plate, and Briley takes a look at a breaking ball down and away. Ball 1, 1-2. Hammerich favors Willie Mays, as we mentioned, but he wears the number of another Hall of Famer, the late Don Drysdale, number 53. And Don, of course, a big righty. The 1-2 pitch in the dirt, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. The thing, and I don't know whether the love that Hammerich has for Willie Mays would extend to reading the biographies of Willie. I think James Hirsch is the writer who wrote the most recent one of the Say Hey Kid. Arnold Haino wrote one that I read back in the 60s. The 2-2 pitch, fastball to Briley, away, ball 3. Hammerich is flirting with losing Briley. After jumping ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, the count has gone full 3-2 with Briley leading things off in the 3-hole tonight. Here in the top of the 6th inning. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hammerich back to the plate. Fastball lifted to center field. Christian Cooney is there. Moves a couple of steps over to his right to make the catch. 1 away. Chad Stevens, who's lined out and had a single to right, a misjudged fly ball out there for the base hit. Chad will come to the plate. It is considered the finest hour for the great Willie Mays, August 22nd, 1965, when Drysdale wasn't pitching, but he certainly would have been coming out of the Dodger dugout or bullpen on that fateful day when John Roseboro took a bat to John Roseborough's, Juan Marichal took a bat to John Roseborough's head. August 22nd of 65, and struck Roseboro in the skull, did Juan Marichal 3 times with a bat. And Willie, maybe the finest hour of his career that day, and becoming the only one who was able to find a way to make peace in that awful situation. So respected he was by members of both teams. The strike 1 pitch to Chad Stevens is low. 1 ball and 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on in the 6th. 3-0 West Lynn. Hammerich kicks and comes back to the plate. Fastball low and in, ball 2, 2-1. We saw Joe Kelly to modernize things a little bit. I know I've talked of Rose and Mays and Bill Bevins, but Joe Kelly, I am familiar with him too. Suspended for 8 games. That's the same suspension Juan got for hitting Roseboro over the head with a bat in 1965. Somehow that doesn't seem quite commensurate, but that's what it was then. 2 starts in a pennant race for Juan and the Giants in 65, and they came up a little bit short to Los Angeles. The pitch missing in the count, 3-1. 1 out, nobody on in the 6th. Hammerich back to the plate. The 3-1 pitch grounded to the hole and through into left field for a base hit. Gabe Scoro takes the ball off that beautiful grass out in left field, gets the ball back in. Stevens is 2 for 3, and James Anderson will come to the plate. But Joe Kelly took matters into his own hands the other night, and without really disguising his intentions, threw a ball behind Alex Bregman. In a sense, I think representing many pitchers, many players, and their feelings and attitudes towards the Astros. Kelly paying the price for kind of doing what I think a lot of pitchers probably would like to do in light of the cheating scandal. There goes a runner. The pitch is outside. Arnone's throw is a good one, but a little late. And Chad Stevens is safely in with a stolen base, giving James Anderson an RBI opportunity. Bit of a double clutch for Arnone. Had he been able to get the ball transferred more quickly, he might have had a chance to get Stevens, but the hesitation cost him. And now Anderson open stance with the breezes picking back up here at Bob Rock Stadium, trying to add to the Knights' lead in the 6th. 3-0 West Lynn. Out of the stretch works Hammerich, and comes to Anderson on the corner for a strike, and the count 1-1. But Kelly, had the temerity to make that kind of pitch, and while he pays a steep price, 8 games in a 60-game season. Part of the reason that it ended up being Marichal attacking Roseboro and that infamous incident in August of 65 at Candlestick, Sandy Koufax, the pitcher for the Dodgers, facing Marichal. Koufax refused, and out to the mound goes Arnone to visit with Hammerich. Sandy refused to throw at opposing team's hitters. So Roseboro felt he needed to take matters into his own hands after Marichal had plunked a couple of Dodgers early in the game. Roseboro threw a pitch after Koufax delivered a pitch. Roseboro threw a ball back that whizzed by Juan Marichal's ear and just almost clipped the ear on the way back to Koufax. The 1-1 pitch on the way hits James Anderson. Speaking of hit batters and all of that nonsense, Anderson not intentionally plunked here. In fact, he's got to kind of jog it off as he's hit down on his left foot. He's okay. I don't think we're going to see any retaliation because that was one that got away from Christian Hammerich. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Thomas Ducart, the batter. Roseboro zings one by Marishall's ear. The two exchange words. Marishall attacks Roseboro with a bat, hits him 3 times, opening a bloody wound in Roseboro's scalp. Naturally, benches, bullpens, everybody cleared, and it looked like a full-scale melee was going to take place. Ducart, a ground ball off the glove of Lucas Gregory into shallow right field. Rounding third on his way to the plate is Chad Stevens to score. Into third base goes James Anderson, and Thomas Ducart into second as the Knights open up a 4-0 lead. It'll be a base hit and an RBI for Thomas Ducart. And when I said off the mitt or the glove of the first baseman, Lucas Gregory, yes, I do think he deflected it, but it was a tough chance as he ranged to his right, slowed the ball a little bit into shallow right field, but a base hit all the way for Ducart and a run batted in. Stevens scoring from second. The Knights lead at 4-0. James Anderson to third, Ducart into second, and now Jake Lightgeb, who singled and scored last inning at the plate. 4-0 Wes Lynn in the 6th. Hammerich delivers high and inside, ball 1. So with all heck breaking loose at Candlestick, it was Willie Mays who came out of the Giants dugout and was the ultimate peacemaker that day, and was credited by Walt Alston, Maury Wills, Lou Johnson, and so many, and all of those from the LA Dodgers, for finding a way to bring some peace and sanity to that situation, pulling his friend John Roseboro away from the melee and getting other people settled down. And it's considered one of Willie's finest hours. So Hammerich, the pitcher now for the Portland Pickles, whether he knows that about Willie, he should, because not only the greatest ball player ever in terms of the 5 tools, also that kind of leadership and respect and awe in which he was held diffused one of the more volatile situations in baseball history. The pitch from Hammerich missing high and inside, ball 2, 2-1 to Jake Lightgeb. A run in here in the 6th for the Knights with James Anderson at third, Thomas Ducart at second. 2 balls and a strike to Jake Lightgeb. The infield is at normal depth with Hammerich working out of the stretch, comes to the plate, and the 2-1 pitch misses inside for ball 3. There is some activity. A left-hander is up in the Portland Pickles bullpen. Hammerich does have a base to play with. Nick Klemp on deck. Ball 4 could lead to the possibility of the ground ball and getting out of the inning. But the Knights trying to break it open here in the top of the 6th. They've yet to put up a crooked number in any inning. Have a chance to do so here. The 3-1 pitch, a strike. A singleton in the 1st, a run in the 4th, a run in the 5th. So far, 1 in the 6th. Runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. 4-0 Wes Lynn. Christian Hammerich working out of the stretch. James Anderson at 3rd, Thomas Ducart at 2nd. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. That's a big out. Nice job by Hammerich for the 2nd out of the inning. Jake Lightgeb strikes out on a 3-2 operating. Now Nick Klemp, the hitter. He has grounded to 3rd and flied to left field. Klemp out of Cascade High School from Dennis Erickson Country, Everett, Washington, Everett Community College. Also competing at the resurgent program on the Bluff, the University of Portland. First pitch to Klemp from Hammerich. Fastball for a strike. 0-1 the count. Indeed, the Knights with a chance to bust it here in the 6th, but Hammerich trying to keep his team within at least reasonable striking distance and hopes to strand a couple of West Lynn Knights runners. Anderson at 3rd, Ducart at 2nd, 1 run in. Hammerich back to the plate. The strike 1 pitch, though, is lined down the right field line, headed for the right field corner. Anderson scores, Ducart scores, and cruising into second base is Nick Klemp with a 2-run double, and the Knights have busted it open here in the 6th. A 3-run frame so far, and West Lynn leads it 6-0. Well, he was close to getting out of it, was Christian Hammerich, but a nice piece of hitting. Nick Klemp going the other way. And the Knights indeed with a comfortable lead now here on a pleasant evening in beautiful Aurora. The batter is Ben Lead, who has flied to center and struck out. Hammerich will continue with the left-hander working out of the stretch. Christian kicks and comes to the plate. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Ben. No balls and 1 strike the count. A 2-run double for Nick Klemp has given Corvallis the 6-0 advantage in this final day of July in 2020. Mike Parker working with Carlo Jimenez this evening. Carlo will be rejoining after the 8th. The strike 1 pitch swung on and fouled back in the count 0-2, and it's just again I say what a blessing it is to be able to come to a ball game just one time. Didn't get to call any Oregon State games in the spring. My good friend John Warren did. The Beavers scuffled through the spring going 5-9. I was looking forward after the Beaver men's basketball run to getting back in the baseball seat. The last moment I had on the air calling play-by-play involved Jared Lucas hitting a last-second 3 to help the Beavers advance in the Pac-12 tournament to a game that was going to be played on March the 12th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. A pitch misses high and away, and the count 1-2. And while preparing to broadcast that game that morning, we all got the word after Rudy Gobert's positive test the night before that the Pac-12 tournament, which was going to try to play that next day and for that Civil War basketball game with no fans, was not going to be played at all. The 1-2 pitch misses away for ball 2. The Oregon State players and coaches were on a plane on the tarmac at PDX getting ready to head to Tucson to open the conference season, and they were all told to get up and deplane. They'd already closed the door, but the airline allowed the Beaver players and coaches to walk off the plane, and back home they came, and that was that. The 2-2 pitch misses low and away, ball 3. 3-2 to Ben Lead. 3 runs in the inning for the Knights, who lead it 6-0. So here finally on this 31st of July, thanks to the generosity of Alan Miller and the staff and Carlo and inviting me, Brooke Knight invited me to come up just to see whether I might still be able to call a baseball game and enjoy it, something I've been doing for a long time. Fastball to Ben Lead for a strike, and the inning is over. And all I can say is, if you've ever seen, and I hope you do, an underrated film called Midnight Run, Charles Grodin, Robert De Niro, it's funny, and it's very good. But De Niro, late in the film, is getting ready to do some police work after spending some ignominious years as a bounty hunter. He gets to do some real police work again, and as he's being wired up, he's smiling, and the fellow actor says, "Why are you smiling?" And he says, "Well, I feel like a cop again." Thanks to Carlo and everybody with the Portland Pickles inviting me here tonight. For just one night, I feel like a broadcaster again, and I'm grateful for it. 3 runs in the inning for the West Lynn Knights. We go to the bottom of the 6th. West Lynn 6 and Portland nothing on our live stream broadcast presented by Adventist Health. Tony Boeto to lead things off against Knights right-hander Taylor Holder in the 6th. And the first pitch to Boeto misses in the dirt. Ball 1, 1-0. Tony struck out against Jake Fennigs in the 3rd. It's been Fennigs and Taylor Holder for West Lynn. The 1-0 pitch just under the elbow inside, ball 2, 2-0 to Boeto. Boeto, Gabe Scoro, then back to the top of the order for the Pickles and Noah Sue here in the bottom of the 6th. Holder works from the stretch with nobody on. The 2-0 fastball down and away. Taylor has gotten off to inauspicious starts in each of his 2 innings of work. A hit batter to lead off the 4th, a 4-pitch walk to lead off the 5th. Zeros on the board both times, so here we go with a potential problem to open the inning. Green lighted 3-0. Boeto blasts it to left field over the head of Jake Holcroft all the way to the base of the fence. Jake kicks it around a little bit out there, but pulling into second with a double is Tony Boeto. And a good decision by Justin Barkus in the terms of his club down 6-0, a 3-0 count. Probably the best opportunity for Boeto to see an eminently hittable pitch, and he got it and knew what to do with it, drilling it to left. And it's a leadoff double for Tony Boeto with Gabe Scoro, the hitter. Gabe grounded to short, to the third baseman Briley Knight in his first at-bat. Scoro, another young man from the University of Portland, Lincoln High School, Mickey Lolich country. The pitch to Scoro is in the dirt. Good block by Jake Lightgeb. 1 ball and no strikes. Lightgeb out for a visit with Taylor Holder. 6-0 Knights in the bottom of the 6th inning. Gabe Scoro has been a fan favorite, to be sure, with the Pickles, playing both 2018 and 19, and was prepared and is playing for the Portland Pickles, albeit here instead of Lentz Park at Walker Stadium in that great setting in southeast Portland, down here in Aurora. The 1-0 pitch, fastball up, ball 2, 2-0. But Scoro indeed has been a fan favorite for Pickles fans who are here in good numbers tonight, making up part of the crowd of 80. The 2-1 pitch in there for a strike, and the count 2-1. But indeed, Lincoln High School, a lot of tremendous athletes have come through Lincoln through the years, but I'm not sure there's a greater hero. And we mentioned Bill Bevins in the 47 series, tragedy in one hit, as it was described in the juvenile literature, books that I enjoyed reading as a kid. Greatest World Series thrills. I think Joseph Bell was the writer in his chapter on Bevins, tragedy in one hit. I remember as a 9 and 10-year-old reading about the pride of Hubbard and Bevins, but also understood that 21 years later, a grand moment for a kid out of Portland. Lincoln High and the great Mickey Lolich winning 3 in the 68 World Series and outdueling Bob Gibson in Game 7 to bring the title home to Motown. Pitch on the way, misses away, ball 3, 3-2. Gabe Scoro, hailing from the same high school as the great Mickey Lolich. 6-0 Knights in the 6th. The 3-0 pitch, or 3-2 pitch, a bounder off the mound and under the glove of Chad Stevens into center field. Rounding third, on his way to the plate is Boeto, and he will score. And that breaks up the shutout. Taylor Holder has been flirting with trouble each of the last 2 innings. And a tough chance for Chad Stevens. The ball bounding off the mound, changing the trajectory of the ball for Stevens, who I know just by his body language feels as though he should have made the play, but it'll go as a base hit and a run batted in for Scoro, in that it was a tough chance for Chad Stevens. So Scoro gets a run batted in on the single under the glove of Chad Stevens, and West Lynn sees the shutout broken up, the Pickles on the board, now 6-1 on the RBI single for Scoro. Noah Sue, the hitter, has lined out and been hit by a pitch. A right-hander loosening up in the bullpen for West Lynn, with the Pickles cracking the goose egg here in the bottom of the 6th. Fastball up and in, ball 2, 2-0. 6-1 Knights in the 6th. I've been told by Carlo and others here in the press box that we are experiencing on this 31st of July the coldest night of the year. It's not cold, but certainly cooler than any other ball game. The pitch gets through the catcher, Jake Lightgeb, and the pitch was in the dirt. I think Jake thought the ball was right in front of him, perhaps down around the ankles, but it actually got through the wickets, and down to second base goes Gabe Scoro. But just the very phrase, while relatively speaking the coldest night of the year, July 31st, it's been hot throughout most of these evenings at the ballpark. But just the phrase, I hope that some of you know the composer of the grand tune, The Coldest Night of the Year, by Canada's national treasure and I think our best songwriter and lyricist of the last 30, 40 years, one Bruce Coburn. The 3-1 pitch is a two-hopper towards Chad Stevens. Chad up with it, flips to first on the play. Moving to third base is Gabe Scoro. Noah Sue grounds out, though, and gets the job done in the process, even though it's still a long climb out of the hole for the Portland Pickles. They do have a chance to pick up a run with an out here in the sixth. With Christian Cooney coming to the plate, Cooney is grounded to second and grounded to third. Another Portland pilot from the stretch works Holder, delivers. First pitch strike on the check swing by Cooney out of Central Catholic High School. And Central Catholic, a place where Kevin Gunderson attended. Gundy has been tutoring a lot of the young pitchers who are participating here in the Wild Wild West League tonight, and that is so good to know that Gundy, such a craftsman and a hero of the Beavers National Championship team of 2006, has been teaching the craft and the art of pitching to many young men for both programs in this game tonight and for many young arms throughout the Pacific Northwest. The strike two fastball from Taylor Holder misses high, ball one, 1-2. Cooney from Gundy's alma mater in Central Catholic, also competing at the University of Portland, and a Grand Ronde Tribal member. The 1-2 pitch on the way, taken a little bit high and inside by Christian. Ball 2, 2-2. 6-1. The West Lynn Knights in front. Taylor Holder trying to keep it that way. Works out of the stretch. Comes to Cooney 2-2. And that fastball sails high and away. Ball 3, 3-2. Taylor's been a bit erratic. Hasn't had the good command. And in a sense, the run this inning is a direct result of it. Falling behind 3-0 to open the inning, gave up a double on a 3-0 pitch. Now a 3-2 pitch is stroked to left. Jake Holcroft moves over to make the catch, tagging Escoro on his way to the plate and will score. And a nice job by the Portland Pickles to at least keep themselves in this ball game. They've scored 2 in the frame, a sacrifice fly for Cooney, bringing home Scoro, and Brook Knight is on his way out to the mound, and that likely means a pitching change. With 2 down, nobody on, and indeed we'll see a new arm come into the ball game here at Bob Rock Stadium. So with the pitching change coming, we'll take a short break here. The Pickles have gotten off the schneid a bit after seeing the Knights score 3 to open up a 6-0 lead. The Pickles serving notice that they're not done yet. They've scored 2 outs, bases empty for a new pitcher coming in. It could be Ethan Krupp. We'll see. It is Ethan Krupp. Thumbs up from Gary to tell me indeed that's the proper identification. We'll learn a little bit more about Ethan here in a moment. The Knights 6, the Pickles 2, as we continue the live stream presented by Adventist Health. Ethan Krupp goes to work on Dalton Chandler. Misses high and inside. 6-2 Knights in the bottom of the sixth. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball away, ball two. 2-0. So Ethan Krupp, the third pitcher of the evening for the West Lynn Knights. Jake Fennigs, Taylor Holder, and now Krupp. The 2-0 pitch to Dalton Chandler, grounded back up the middle into center field for a base hit. This is a nice response by the Pickles in that after the Knights put up the 3 spot in the top of the inning to open up a 6-0 lead, the Pickles have come back with 2, and they're not done yet with Kenyon Yovan coming to the plate against Ethan Krupp. Ethan, another young man out of Crescent Valley High School, and will be at Chemeketa. Began his career at Western Oregon, now at Chemeketa. But Ethan very grateful to the influence that Coach Starwald had on him in his days at Crescent Valley High School. A throw down to first base after the pitch misses to Yovan. 1 ball and no strikes. And very glad is Ethan to be a Knight, albeit a West Lynn Knight, not a Corvallis Knight, but Ethan said he spent many a summer coming to watch Corvallis Knights ball games at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Wearing the Corvallis Knights gear, pitching for the West Lynn Knights, delivers a towering fly ball to left center field. It's Jake Holcroft amid a trio of West Lynn Knights who calls and makes the catch, and Yovan retired, and that'll do it here in the 6th. But the Pickles serve notice they're not done yet. They pick up 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. At the end of 6, Corvallis 6 and the Portland Pickles 2, as we continue our live stream on this presentation from Brock Stadium presented by Adventist Health. Through 6 innings at Bob Brock Stadium in Aurora, the West Lynn Knights 6 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. The Portland Pickles 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error. Big left-hander into the ball game for the Portland Pickles, and I mean big. Jake Trupp, southpaw, coming on back of a fellow left-hander Christian Hammerich. Trupp's first pitch to the left-hand hitting Jake Holcroft misses low and away, ball 1. Jake is out of Camas High School and headed to Clark College, we believe. Carlo's looking that up as we go. I didn't have notes on this young man. Big lefty. We're trying to get his dimensions as well. If we can find a roster that actually has it, but he's looking to be about 6'6" at least. We're going to get Carlo with the official number 6'7". Thank you. The big lefty with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike, working on Jake Holcroft, leading off for the Knights here in the Top of the 7th inning, 6-2. Trupp to the plate. Holcroft trying to lay one down for a bunt. Leaves it foul up along third, and the count 1-2. Jake has doubled to left, struck out, and singled home a run. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big Jake Trupp out of Camas High School, and Camas the setting for one of the great modern novels with a lot of baseball in it. Trupp delivers, swung on and missed, strike 3. Holcroft retired to open the top of the 7th. Andy Armstrong will be the batter. If you ever get a chance to read a novel called The Brothers K, and folks, if you want, I mean, this is it. My one and only shot to get to be with you for the summer of 2020. So I'm giving you Bruce Coburn. I'm giving you, whatever I can, Willie Mays and the biographies and all of that. Okay, I'm saying if you get a chance, as Camas comes into play tonight now, Andy Armstrong takes a strike in the count 0-1, 6-2 Knights in the 7th. Reward yourself by reading The Brothers K. David James Duncan, Camas is the setting, and it is a sprawling, spectacular, heartwarming, baseball-oriented novel. A 2-hopper to the shortstop. Dalton Chandler fires to first. He nearly pulled Gregory off the bag, did Chandler, but Lucas able to maintain contact for the out, and Andy Armstrong is 0 for 4, 2 down. And Briley Knight, the batter. Briley with a sacrifice fly in the first. Walked and scored in the 4th. Flied to center in the 6th. 2 down, nobody on, top of the 7th, 6-2, Wes Lynn. Left on left. First pitch fastball misses away. Ball 1, 1-0. So a 6'7" left-hander by the name of Jake Trupp. And Jacob, a freshman out of Camas High. And did you find, is he going to Clark for sure? Do we know that? Carlo nodding yes. Clark College bound. Pitch on the way, misses for ball 2, 2-0. 2 down, nobody on in the 7th. The 2-0 pitch on the way. In there for a strike to Briley. And the count 2-1. The Brothers K, just a wonderful novel, and the love of baseball comes through it page after page. The 2-1 pitch misses down and away, ball 3. And believe me, it's not all about baseball, but baseball is strong undercurrent in it. And one segment, one chapter in the book devoted to a father and son watching the game of the week with Pee Wee Reese and Dizzy Dean. And it clearly was a memory. The 3-1 pitch misses just inside to Briley for ball 4. Briley trots down to first, and Chad Stevens, the batter. David James Duncan, the author, must have, from just personal experience. There's a chapter in the book with the writer Duncan lovingly describing a father and son watching, and dad commenting with how much enjoyment he was getting listening to Old Iz and Pee Wee Reese call the game of the week. One of the best sections of many great sections in the book, The Brothers K. Jake Trupp to the plate and drills Chad Stevens. Chad hit by the first pitch that he sees, so Trupp, after getting 2 quick outs, a strikeout and a ground out, has walked Knight, he's hit Stevens, and now has to cope with James Anderson, the first baseman for Wes Lynn, who was flied to left, struck out, and was hit by a pitch and scored last inning. 6-2 Knights in the top of the 7th. Jake Trupp and Alec Arnone, the battery for the Pickles. Lucas Gregory at first, Noah Sue at second, Dalton Chandler at short, Kenyon Yovan at third. The first pitch, fastball strike from the left-hander Jake Trupp, 0-1 the count. Gabe Scoro in left, Christian Cooney in center, and Danny O'Reilly in right. The big southpaw glances back at Briley. The runners go. The pitch is in the dirt. The throw down to second base is not in time. So the Knights, who run wildly, and by that I mean that in the best possible sense, the Knights run wild. Through the years, the stolen base has been a big part of the Knights under Brook Knight, and the back-to-back championships built on many things, but good base running has been one of those primary ingredients in those titles. The pitch on the way to Anderson, a strike, and the count 1-2. So 2 more stolen bases here. with Briley Knight down to third, Chad Stevens into second, and an opportunity for Anderson to again add on and make it much more comfortable for the Knights here late. He takes the 1-2 pitch, does James, outside, ball 2, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 on and 2 out in the top of the 7th. 6 runs, 7 hits for the Knights, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Portland Pickles. Anderson swings and pounds, I thought had gotten a little piece of it, but swung through over the top of a good pitch from Trupp for a swing and a miss in strike 3, and the inning is over. 7th inning stretch time at Bob Rock Stadium in Aurora. The Knights threaten but come up empty in the top half of the 7th. No runs, no hits, and a song that I think the entire world has been singing all spring and into the summer long, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. They get to be taken out to the games at least 80 strong tonight. Major League fans still waiting to try to get in their own cities. But we're glad to be out at the ballpark and out at the ball game tonight as we go to the bottom of the 7th. After 6.5, the Knights 6 and the Pickles 2 on the live stream presented by Adventist Health. Bottom of the 7th inning at North Marion High School's beautiful ballpark, Bob Brock Stadium. Mike Parker with Carlo Jimenez. Carlo will be taking you the rest of the way after this bottom of the 7th inning, with the Knights leading 6-2. Taylor Holder gave way to Ethan Krupp last inning, so the Knights have used Pfennigs, Holder, and Ethan ready to go here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the first pitch misses low and away to Zach Morgan. And Zach, I'm not sure if he took over for Arnone earlier. That's a bit of information I hadn't seen, but he's getting his first plate appearance. The 1-0 fastball turns him around. Ethan Krupp missing high and inside, ball 2, 2-0. Carlo, I want to thank you for the opportunity. It's been a lot of fun. Enjoyed being alongside of you here in this beautiful setting. The moon breaking through a little bit, but it's cloudy tonight. We've got a different kind of night for the game, and the moon coming through the clouds a bit, about a 3/4 moon beyond left field. This is a beautiful setting for a ballpark, and I can tell, I mean, you've had a good time this summer, huh?
Yeah, it has been fantastic being here.
Out of the stretch works Krupp, the 3-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 3-1. So how is this ball game? And this is the only one I've seen in person. I'm glad to be taken out to the ball game here tonight. It's fun to be able to sing that with truth and meaning. Has this been kind of a typical Knights Pickles game so far in this league this summer? The 3-1 pitch, down and away, ball 4. I don't feel like this game's over quite yet. It feels like the Pickles have kind of hung in there, and they've got a shot here late.
Yeah, typically these two teams, it's been very close. The Knights have seemed to always jump out ahead, and the Pickles working from behind most of the time. But it's Pickles Knights, it should be always a good one.
Out of the stretch works Krupp, delivers to Gregory. He slices one to left field and deep. Back on the ball goes Jake Holcroft, still trying to track it, and does on the warning track and straight away left field, heading towards the 3:22 mark. Good contact for Lucas Gregory, a long out. Holcroft, an excellent outfielder, tracked it well, one away. Danny O'Reilly is the scheduled hitter for the Portland Pickles, unless it is Danny O'Reilly coming to the plate. Danny had flied to center and struck out as he gets a chance here against Krupp. So I mentioned earlier, and I think people know, you go to USC What year are you going to be?
I'll be a sophomore.
Sophomore at SC. The pitch on the way from Ethan Krupp, misses low and in, ball one. And is it a J school, a communications journalism? What is it you're studying there?
So I'm studying journalism, and it's part of the communication journalism PR school. It's called Annenberg.
Very renowned school. Tough to get into, I'm sure, so congratulations on getting into that. The 1-0 pitch off the mitt of Knights catcher Jake Lightgeb to the back. Gary, a pass ball? Okay, it'll be a pass ball that sends Zach Morgan down to second base. And a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Lightgeb out to visit with his battery mate, Ethan Krupp. So how did your freshman year go? Did you get a chance to call some games and do some hands-on work at SC?
You know, I did. It was a great year. Unfortunately cut short, but I got a lot of opportunities as a freshman.
2 balls and no strikes the count. The pitch is lifted foul off first. Coming over is Klemp. He has a play. Nick makes the catch near the Portland Pickles dugout on the first base side. 2 down, and Tony Boeto will be the hitter. And what is the plan? Do you know yet? I mean, has USC declared what you're going to do, how school's going to go this year?
Yeah, so for the most part, we're online. It's been really tough because the LA County hasn't approved people moving back, so people were supposed to move back this week. But everything has been put on halt as of late.
The pitch is lifted foul by Boeto and out of play. No balls and 1 strike. You grew up in San Jose and went to USC. Did you grow up were you a Giants fan too, like some of these folks, Christian Hammerich and other people I've been talking about?
I was.
Okay.
The best time to be a Giants fan too.
You've seen 3 World Series championships growing up, right?
I have.
No balls and 1 strike to Boeto. The 0-1 pitch on the way in the dirt. Good block by Jake Lightgeb. The count 1-1. Not even the great Willie Mays 1-1. He got to Game 7 in '62. That's the closest he got to winning one in San Francisco. He did win a World Series when he made a catch against Vic Wirtz in '54. Do you have a favorite Giant through the years?
That's a tough one.
1-1 pitch, grounded back up the middle, backhanded by Stevens, throws to first and not in time. They would have been in time, but the foot was off the bag, and the inning is over, but this will get overruled. Great play by Stevens to go up the middle. It'll be a base hit for Tony Boeto. The first base umpire, well, this should be overturned is what I'm saying, and bring the players back onto the field. The runner is safe at first. The Knights players kept coming into the dugout. The base umpire did not have the angle to see that the Knights first baseman, Nick Klemp, did not have his foot on the bag. Everybody in the ballpark, I think, saw it that way except the base umpire, who said out. And after a brief conference with the home plate umpire, the Knights players trying to sell it by running off the field, the plate umpire said, no, that man is safe. So it's a base hit for Boeto, and into third base goes Zach Morgan. First and third, 2 down. Gabe Scoro, an RBI base hit last inning, looking for another one here in the bottom of the 7th. The Knights leading 6-2. So, what was the answer to that? Favorite?
Probably just because he's been there all 3, Brandon Crawford.
Okay, I like that. And I see his name comes up somewhere in one of your players' favorite players, too.
I believe so, yeah.
The pitch on the way to Scoro, a strike, and the count 0-1. Ethan Krupp working out of the stretch, runners at the corners, 2 down. 6-2 West Lynn in the bottom of the 6th inning. So are you on board still? Gabe Kapler, the new era, you okay with all of that?
I mean,
too early?
It's too early.
Yeah.
I like the way Yastrzemski's looking.
Oh, man. Looking a little bit like a guy named Carl Yastrzemski, the way he's swinging the bat. I like the swing, too. The pitch on the way, Scoro with a good swing. A line drive, base hit into left field. And again, the Portland Pickles showing some resiliency here tonight with Zach Morgan coming in to score. Some activity beginning in the West Lynn Knights bullpen. 6-3 West Lynn. And Brooke is on his way to visit with his catcher, Jake Lightgeb, who is swinging his left hand, left arm around. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Jake, but Lightgeb is in some pain. And Brooke, a former catcher, knows all about it, can certainly empathize. Comes out. Jake shaking the arm and the hand around, and Jake essentially tells Brooke to go away and that he'll carry on. But what a tough position that is. And part of the reason that the Giants, I think, were so successful through the years. They had such a tough skipper, a guy who knew how to coach, knew how to play as a catcher, Bruce Bochy, in the Gabe Kapler era underway. This inning will come to an end for the Portland Pickles, but they do get another run. Sue hitting a fly ball to center field. Thomas Ducard is right there to make the catch and retire the side. Well, that's going to do it for yours truly. It's been a pleasure, Carlo. Thanks for having me in here. Let's talk a little bit about as we go to the top of the 8th inning with the Knights leading at the end of 7, the Knights 6, and the Portland Pickles 3. Again, thanks for letting me do this, and I've been enjoying watching you. You got a great voice and a tremendous presence on the air, and I look forward to hearing more of you this summer, Carla. Thanks for inviting me in tonight.
Thank you, and thanks for coming on. It's been great having you.
Thank you, sir. From Bob Brock Stadium, Carla will take you the rest of the way when we go to the 8th. The big left-hander continuing to loosen up in Jacob Trupp. We go to the 8th here at Bob Brock in Aurora. The Knights 6 and the Pickles 3. More coming up with Carlo Jimenez the rest of the way, presented by Adventist Health.
So the left-hander Thomas Ducart stands in, starts the top of the 8th, 6-3, Knights lead. Jacob Krupp trying to keep it that way as he deals upstairs. And the count of 1 ball, no strikes. So the Knights watch the Pickles put up a run in the bottom of the 8th and come 3 runs closer. Trying to protect their lead, 1-0. And a swing and a foul back to the screen. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. When I was talking to Mike on the phone before we had him come out here, I told him I went to Bellarmine College Prep. And Mike had a story from when he was a sophomore playing left field way back when. Playing at Oak Grove. So he learned a valuable lesson about lefties hitting slicing balls towards the line. And gave me a good 5-minute story. Six to 3, the Pickles lead. A ball and 2 strikes to Thomas Ducart. 1-2. Look out. Ducart has to duck. And the count evens out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ducart steps back in, taps the plate twice. Looks towards Trupp. And the 6'7", 227 lefty deals. Swing and a miss and a strikeout for Jacob Trupp. 1 to end the 7th and 1 to start the 8th, his 3rd of the ball game. As up comes the right-hander, Jake Lightgeb. Lightgeb singled and scored back in the 5th. He struck out swinging in the 6th. Pickles trailing 6 to 3. Knights protecting a 6-3 lead. Opening offering. Upstairs. The count 1 ball and no strikes to Lightgeb. Nicholas Klemp waiting his turn on deck. Base is empty. And 1 gone here in the top of the 8th. 1-0 offering catches the corner. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Knights with 3 runs in the top of the 6th. That's the difference in this 6-3 game. 1-1. Low and in. And the count 2 balls and a strike to Lightgeb. Lights are on. The sun is down. Late innings here at Bob Brock. 2-1. Down and away for a ball. And the count 3 balls and 1 strike. A hitter's count for the righty Lightgeb in the 7th hole. An open stance. And the 3-1 misses up and in. So a 1-out walk. A free base for Lightcap, and up comes Nicholas Klemp. The DH with a runner aboard. Klemp doubled, picked up a pair of RBIs in his last at-bat back in the 6th. Right-handed batter with a closed stance, wags the bat at the belt, now holds it behind his right shoulder. Opening offering. And he taps one foul back to the screen. Jake Lightcap has already stolen one base as he leads over at first. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Of course, always great to have Mike Parker come and call a couple of innings. Can say I learned a lot. 0-1. Strike. Excuse me, a ball. That one looked like it was over, but not to the umpire. The count of 1 ball, 1 strike. 6-3. Knights on top. 1-1. Swing and a miss. And he counted a ball and 2 strikes. Ben Lead is on deck. He's 0 for 3. Jake Lightcap leads at first. 1 gone. Top 8. Jacob Truck. 1-2. Strike 3 up and outside. Snap back throw to first is not in time. Klemp is retired. 4th strikeout of the ball game for Jacob Truck, and up comes the righty Ben Lead. One aboard, 2 gone. And a ball misses away to Lead. Kind of 1 ball, no strikes. 6 hit. 7 hits, no errors on 6 runs for the Knights. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Picks. And Lead bounces one to Jovan, 2 hopper. He waits for it, fires to first for out number 3. 1 walk, 1 left aboard. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Pickles trying to slice into the 3-run advantage for the Knights. So welcome back. Bottom 8 here at Bob Brock. 6-3. Westland leads Portland as the right-handed batter Christian Cooney stands in. Sean Weiss, the lefty, on the mound for the guys in pinstripes as he looks in. Sets. and deals to Cooney, who swings and fouls one off down the right field line. Count it 0-1. Cooney hit a sacrifice fly to left his last time up. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. Weeze on the mound. He's closed one game before for this Westland team. Pickles down 3, bottom 8. 0-1 on its way. Up and away. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike to Cooney. It'll be Cooney, Chandler, Jovan, 2, 3, 4. The big hitters for the Picks. Weeze exhales 1-1. Outside again. And the count 2 balls and 1 strike. The flag is limp in center field. Not a lot of wind here at Bob Brock, and we haven't said that much. Weeze looks in, the 2-1 offering. Outside again. And the count 3 balls and 1 strike. You see Lightgib take a little bit of more time as he walks out, then throws the ball. The lefty had a George Fox deals, and Cooney fouls one back. Count runs full, 3-2. Sean, in his last outing against the Pickles, went an inning and a third. Did not give up a hit, and had 3 strikeouts. Payoff pitch on its way to Cooney. And he swings and pops one up down the right field line and towards the party deck. Look out, almost got Mike Parker. Mike standing over there. Nobody on, nobody out. Bottom of the 8th, just getting going. Righty Christian Cooney stands in. Weeze sets, and the 3-2. Cooney swings and rockets one right at Briley Knight. A hard hit baseball, but to third. And there's one gone here in the 8th. So with the bases empty and 1 away, in comes the right-hander, Dalton Chandler, who singled his last time up. Chandler, a late addition to this Pickles ball club, but he's made quite the impact. Lefty on righty, first pitch. And Chandler looks at a strike. Counted 0-1. Dalton out of the University of Washington. 0-1-2. Way outside. And the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Chandler hitting an even .500. He's got a home run, a double, and a single in 8 at-bats. 1-1. And he swings and misses. And the count at a ball and 2 strikes. 6-3, Westland on top of Portland, bottom 8. Knights trying to increase their lead atop the standings to 3 games. And the Pickles trying to pull within a game. 1-2 from Weeze. Up and away. And the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pickles put up 2 in the bottom of the 6th, 1 in the bottom of the 7th. Would love to shrink the Knight advantage here in the 8th before we head to the final frame. 2-2. And Chandler swings and ropes one into left center field. Coming in and making a catch is Jake Holcroft. Holcroft was playing shallow. That allowed him to get to that baseball. And he got a good jump on it. Steals a hit from Dalton Chandler, and in comes Kenyon Jovan. Jovan still searching for his first knock of the ball game. Didn't agree with a strikeout in his first at-bat. Currently rocking a 5-game hit streak, but that is in jeopardy here. The star from Oregon taps the plate twice, looks towards Weeze. Lefty on righty, opening offering. Straight catches the outer part of the plate. And the count at 0-1. Weeze has done a nice job of getting ahead of these Portland hitters. As Ron the K-Man asks for more Dilfin. And it is played here at Bob Brock, a staple of Pickles games. 0-1. And Jovan swings and drives one. Left center field. This ball going back, looking up and making the catch is Thomas Ducard. A loud final out here in the 8th as we head to the 9th. Knights hanging on by 3, 6-3 Westland here at Bob Brock. So welcome back. Top 9, final frame here at Bob Brock, and it's the leadoff spot. Jake Holcroft, the lefty, stands in. Holcroft has a single and a double. He's 2 for 4. Looking towards Jacob Trupp. Lefty on lefty. Opening offering. Holcroft puts the bunt down, and it's a good one. Down the left field line. Trupp gets to it, and he has no play. Jake Holcroft pulls out a bunt single on the first pitch of the 9th. And just like that, the Knights with a runner aboard, and up comes the right-hander, Andy Armstrong. Armstrong 0 for 4, grounded out to Dalton Chandler at short his last time up. Knights 6, Pickles 3, top 9 here at Bob Brock in beautiful Aurora, Oregon. Jacob Trupp sets at the waist, looks towards first, and deals home. There goes Holcroft. The ball is on the outside. The throw is wide, and it gets the helmet of Holcroft. Ricochets into right field. Holcroft goes to third. Hopefully he's all right. And a stolen base moves Holcroft to second. E2 gets him to third, and just like that, the Knights have a guy at 90 feet away here in the top of the 9th. Well, Briley Knight. Brooke Knight is aggressive with his base runners, and you show that right there. Holcroft taking off right away. Trupp sets. 1-0. Strike at the knees. And they count 1 ball, 1 strike. Trupp came in the 7th. He's worked himself out of a couple of jams. But now really has to be careful with a runner at third and nobody out. Knights leading by 3, trying to add some more. 1-1. Swinging a foul down the left field line towards the Knights dugout. And the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Andy Armstrong. Briley Knight waits his turn on deck. Runner at third, nobody out. A golden opportunity for the guys in pinstripes. Infield playing in the 1-2. Way outside, and Arnone has to snag it out of the air. Almost got away. Holcroft with dirt all over the front of his jersey. Leads at third. Nobody out. Runner aboard. Top 9. And a 2-2 count. Pitch to Armstrong. And he swings and cranks one into right field on a line for O'Reilly, who makes the catch on the move forward. Tagging is Holcroft, and he's home easily. So a sacrifice fly from Armstrong. And the Knights add to their lead. It's 7-3 Westland. on the sacrifice fly, and up comes the lefty Briley Knights with the bases vacant and one gone. Sam Briley for the second straight game playing third base after probing center to open this summer, opening offering. And a ball outside, count of 1-0. So the Knights put a run on the board in the ninth, first time they've scored since the sixth inning. Jacob Trups, 1-0. Swing and a miss. And the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Westland 7, Portland 3. Top of the ninth here at Bob Brock in Aurora, Oregon. Riley Knight taps the place twice. And the 1-1 his way. Look out, and it got him. On the right hamstring, Riley Knight jogs over to first gingerly. He looks all right. Jacob Trupp hits the coach's kid, and in comes Chad Stevens. Stevens singled in the fourth and the sixth. He was hit by a pitch in the seventh. Cleaned up man out of the University of Portland. Future teammates with a guy on first, Briley Knight. Knights with a run already in. Now a run on with one on. Briley Knight goes, and Trupp got him. Throw to first. They'll throw it to Sue, and there's nobody covering first. It went Gregory to Sue, and Briley Knight came right back to first base. And the Pickles spoil an opportunity, and Briley Knight can exhale after being caught trying to leave a little too early. Runner at first. 7-3, the Knights lead. Jacob Trupp deals, Knight not going, and misses upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes to Chad Stevens. Westland looking to improve to 8-1 and take a 3-game hold on the Wild Wild West League. 1-0. Low and in. Good block by Arnone. The count of 2 balls and no strikes. Stevens stands in. Holds his bat towards Trupp. Now on his right shoulder. Briley Knight leading at first after he was hit by a pitch. The 2-0, runner goes, ball is away, the throw is wide. Briley Knight slides in safely. And it's a stolen base for the third baseman of Westland. Now runner in scoring position with 1 out. Ball was in there for a strike. The count of 2 balls and 1 strike. So Briley Knight, who has been one of the best base stealers this summer, works his way to second. Jacob Trupp's pitch is low and in. In the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Stevens has stolen 3 bases today as he stands into the batter's box. Trupp looks towards second, towards the bouncing Knight. Now Knight runs. The throw is a ball. The throw to third gets by Jovan, and it's going to roll down the line. Briley Knight jogs home with ease. It's a 8-3 Westland lead on the stolen base in the E2. Stevens goes to first on the walk. And in comes the right-handed batter, James Anderson. As out comes head coach Justin Marcus. We'll take a break and come right back. Everybody from the infield heads to the mound. It's a 8-3 lead for the team from Westland here at Bob Brock. Runner at first and 1 gone. Top 9. So James Anderson, the right-handed batter, stands in. Stevens at first, 1 out. Top 9, 2 runs already for the Knights as Jacob Trupp goes over to first. Westland 8, Portland 3 are on this Friday night matchup here in Aurora, Oregon. A crowd of 80 plus, but no more due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Trupp deal. Stevens takes off. It's a ball left put away. Throw by Morgan, and they got him. A great throw by Zach Morgan behind the plate. And there's 2 gone. So Anderson stands on, now with the bases cleared and 2 outs, 0-1. Count 2 balls and no strikes. That ball misses up and in. Knights with an 8-3 lead after their top of the lineup does damage once again. 2-0 from Trupp. Swing and a miss. They counted 2 balls and 1 strike. Anderson has struck out twice. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the 3-run 6th inning. Jacob Trupp trying to keep the Knights lead at 5. 2-1. Strike. And they counted 2-2. Well, the 3 errors by the Pickles, the inability to catch Briley Knight off the bag at first really hurts them. 2-2. Strike 3 catches the corner. And that does it for the top of the 9th. 2 runs come in. The Knights take a 5-run lead. 8-3 Westland. Pickles have some work to do in the home half with Morgan, Gregory, and O'Reilly coming up when we return. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the 9th here at Bob Brocken stands Zach Morgan to face Sean Weiss. Morgan swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Shallow infield coming in as Anderson drops to a knee. He reaches up and makes the catch. A little excitement to that boring pop fly. And there's 1 gone on 1 pitch as up comes Lucas Gregory. Gregory, the lefty, flew out to left his last time up. Pickles need 5 runs. The Knights need 2 outs. 8-3 Westland. Home half of the 9th. Opening offering. Inside. The count 1 ball and no strikes. One 0 from Weiss. Gregory swings and rolls one slowly to Anderson. He scoops it up. Underhand flip to the covering Wheeze. They got him! It was close. And Sean took a while to get over. As quickly, there are 2 gone in the bottom of the 9th. Going to watch that one more time. And skies one into center. This should do it. 2-cart comes in, gets under it, and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. The Knights take the win and take a 3-game lead atop the Wild Wild West League. They improve to 8-1. The Pickles drop to 5-4. And we will see you hopefully tomorrow at 2:30. We'll have the Knights taking on the Grey Wolves, and at 7 it will be the Pickles taking on the Gherkins. Well, we'd like to thank Mike Parker for joining us for the middle innings here on our broadcast, brought to you by Adventus Health. For our whole team here at Bob Brock, John Sandilands, Rory Neuenhouse, Kat Makaroff, Parker Huffman, Kelsey Henry, Allie Weisman, Jackson Thomas, Johnny Harvey, Gary Walker, and Robert Jones. It's Carlo Jimenez saying so long from Bob Brock. Final score, Westland 8, Pickles 3. The Knights with a strong hold on the top.